Could you pick up more sellotape like this? Because I think we're running out here, and just thinking if we ever send back packages because you order something from Amazon or whatever and you want to send it back, you need tape, you know.
Yeah.
Or if you have a microphone that just refuses to cooperate with you, then you might need tape to tape it up.
Tapes.
This is terrible. And you want to bring
that back, please?
that back for the boy?
Yeah. But tonight, yeah.
Yeah, it's just a small bit. Right. That's closed down. So 2 o'clock. I'll be home 2:45.
De cinquantaine d'animaux, Alessia.
Yeah.
Okay, you got your home keys?
Yeah. And everything's locked. Yeah, all switched off. Taped microphone. Can you believe that the clip broke? Well, I think perhaps with a little bit of thin wire, I could always manage to attach this thing. I hope. Or maybe there's some way of just buying a clip. Yeah, I think you can get clip. Girls have clips for their hair, so yeah, I can probably buy one in a shop. And you can clip it like that. That shouldn't be a big deal. I wonder when it broke. Oh, I do have another one ordered, and the one I've ordered is a bit more expensive. This was only €4. It's the cheapest of the cheap. So I've decided to walk home to give myself a bit of space to kind of clear my head. I felt kind of dreadful in the Connemara. Le docteur, oui, c'est là. Juste ici, c'est un petit. C'est un petit porte ici. Voilà.
Ah, merci beaucoup, monsieur.
De rien. thinking it's quite funny. Funny. It's quite, I don't know. I don't know what it's quite what, but hang on a minute, I got people coming. Bonjour. It's quite strange because I've been watching a guy for the last few days, Gus Johnson. And the thing he does before every video is he sellotapes a mic, not unlike this one, to some object. It's kind of his quirky thing. And it may have to become my quirky thing now if I can't find a clip. Yeah, I've been saying I was feeling kind of dreadful. And it's a bizarre kind of feeling. It's not, there's one of kind of anxiety about the dentist, but I'm aware enough to know that it's not just that. It's the feeling you get sometimes when your laptop completely screws up on you, or something just doesn't work and you can't figure out why. It's that kind of irritated feeling, you know, when you're trying to, like with the Wico Light, let's say, you're trying to do something and it doesn't work, or you can't get the internet connection, but your computer is telling you you are connected. But you still can't get the connection. You know, some really annoying, irritating problem. Well, that's the way I felt. Yeah. So I'm very glad to walk, because a walk has proved to be the one thing that can shift this kind of a very sticky, kind of bad mood. This should be about a 45-50 minute audio file. Enjoy. And I've been very, very pleased with the way everything's worked with the Lenny so far. Playing the files back a little bit can be a bit difficult, because it's not possible to scroll through and I was doing it last night, and when you press the wrong button the file just stops, and it's like you have to go back to the beginning, which is not good if the file is like an hour and a half long. But that's a small thing. In terms of the quality and the clarity of the voice, I've just been passed by a lorry going toward me and a bus going the other way, and the bus is turning around the roundabout in front of me. coming back. I'm going to be getting off this road soon, so there won't be this noise problem. Yeah, other than the playback, I've been really happy with it. Not having the thing clipped on, I think I think I can kind of work around that. I'm sure I can find ways of sorting that out. So it's cool because it's meant that this microphone has been of use, and also the Lenny, which normally has been playing the music in the Connemara. Now it's going to be doing this, and I believe we're going to get a tablet or something for the Connemara, another device. As for the Rainbow Light, oh, I think it should be retired again. There's an audio file on it. I may take some pictures. I may do a little bit of audio stuff a little bit more, and then put it away. I won't throw it away, but it is becoming kind of, if you can't watch YouTube videos and you can't record properly, it is becoming more and more irrelevant. The Lenny can still have a function, because just for what I'm doing now, the amount of walking back and forth I do from the Connemara to the Trullier, I reckon in time I could make up quite a collection of these audio tapes, and it's pretty good. It doesn't give you any title or anything. You'd have to do that after, but it does give you the date. So that's a pretty good way of classifying them, storing them. There's another word. What's the other word? Storing them, filing them away, archiving them. That's the word. You can archive them by the date, at least. Even, yeah, that's, you won't know what the subject, but there's never really any specific subject. There's just stuff that's happening at this time. Today is obviously the dentist. In some other time it'll be something else. I've got off the road now. It's quiet. So that humor, yeah, I'm glad Flo didn't get annoyed with me, because I felt myself just very short-tempered. But I think she's aware of the stress of the dentist, so she's not saying anything. But like I said, there's a bigger kind of question, not just the dentist, it's this electronic age. And the problems that more and more stuff does. It seems to add to the clutter. So with my videos and joining Reddit last night, it's like it opens up another file in my head to be checked, to be looked at, and to be perfectly honest, there's not any, for me anyway, maybe this will change, but for my first introduction to Reddit, there's absolutely no enjoyment in that site at all. It is just, where do I upload my videos? And how do I get people to see them? That's all. I don't have any inclination to start searching Reddit for any kind of subjects. Perhaps in the future. But between that and the new dictaphone I bought, and all the stuff I have in my room that I feel the need to use, it's something that's gone back with me since I was a kid. All the way back to one Christmas getting that stylophone and then playing one song and realizing I can only play one song. And then feeling it was wasted because I couldn't do anything with it that I wanted to. I guess only I will know what I mean by all that. It's almost the problem of having too much stuff. Too much choice, you know? The sky is the limit. You can do what you want. Technology for everything. So many apps, so many this, so many that. So much stuff on Amazon. And yet there's this notion that if I just had one or two things, I would get the most out of them. I guess in a sense I'm kind of better than others who, as soon as they get a new product, they probably dump the old product. I don't throw away anything, I keep everything. I'm approaching the hill that leads up to the old house. The lavender field beside me. I can see two people working in the middle of the field, doing whatever. Sometimes this lack of confidence in my psychology or in my way comes over me. And I'm thinking to myself, you know, is there anything more you could be doing to enhance your faculty? Is there anything more you could be doing in trying to find a group, set up a class, something, travel a bit? The questions that arise, they don't really last long, because it would seem impossible to be traveling very much by bus or train when you're working like this. And okay, I could travel Wednesday, but I don't really have the confidence, and I'm not sure I have the faculty, if I'm honest, to do any kind of a class where I'm teaching anything. I know a little bit about everything and a lot about nothing. So I keep Bonjour. So I keep filling my time as best I can. And the weeks and the months slip by, and 50 becomes 52, and that becomes 54. And a lot of people I come in contact with, either on the internet or with Flow, they're talking about the bigger picture and the spiritual side, and everybody's got a part to play. And thinking even of Jordan Peterson and the notion that it's really a very thin veneer that keeps everything in check and in order for us. The kind of comfort and I don't know, it's something to do when I go to the computer room in the evening and turn it on and start kind of looking for stuff to watch. But it's the constant looking for stuff to watch feels like a waste of time. And I think at least when I'm recording something, and pretty much anything, there is the feeling that I may benefit from it in the future. You know, I have had times when I've looked back at old SimCity videos and stuff, and it's entertained me. Perhaps I could do tapes, and I could do recordings that could have some benefit for me in the future, but it's just in general, any kind of recording. There's a sense you're creating something, even if it gets one view, and even if looking back on it in a month's time, it doesn't look that good anymore. There's still a sense of work to it. And I definitely can't argue with the fact that when I finished the little video yesterday, the one where I'm talking about fasting and getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning, I had just a great sense of achievement afterward. For a few minutes, you know, there's just a sense of, oh, I did something. And I get that whenever I upload something, even a crappy Sims video, there's a sense of you did something, you uploaded something. It feels like the thing to do. Intuitively, there really is a payoff. And so I guess I'd still like to find a format where I'm uploading more instead of just kind of spending hours just trying to entertain myself with YouTube videos. I've actually got the camera set up. Maybe I can set up the Sony camera, the good one, and I can just record just a 3-4 minute sketch of something. To do that and to edit it together and everything would take you most of the evening. But when it's done, there really is a sense of that there hasn't been time completely wasted. There is some kind of creative end product. And it's unique to you, you know, nobody's going to do it exactly like that. It's quite still again today. There's no wind here. And I'm just arriving at the little housing estate, is that what you'd call it? Just passing the little house with the very fancy chicken house. It does have a name, this place. I just passed the sign. Guy just put the bins out. Young guy, maybe 12, 13. He's just come back into his house, just reminded me of me. Now he's kicking a football around in his garden. It reminded me of me. I didn't even see what he looks like, but just something about his presence. In years to come, maybe he'll move away to Lyon or something. And he'll think back when he's 54 about how great things felt when he was living in Arizona. The peace and the quiet and the friends that lived nearby. And this was a simpler time. He liked school. And the world seemed better. Maybe some of my feelings are what the class is the midlife crisis thing, where there's a sense that life is just kind of slipping past you, slipping through your fingers, and you haven't done half the stuff that you'd like to have done. And it also gets back to sex. Young girls. My mind goes back to the Seven Oaks nightclub. And when I was single, the excitement of going to a place like that. and going off home with a strange girl. And I think, would I not like to experience that all again? But these are just thoughts. And it's not always wise to trust kind of idle thoughts that come along saying, well, this would be perfect. I know that from the Amazon ordering. Wow, I really need this Philips thing. When I get that, I'm going to be so happy. And we are for about 5 minutes. When you're a bit down and not in the best of form, there is obviously a certain collection of thoughts that are going to come along and paint a picture for you. And in that mood, you're inclined to start dwelling and contemplating on things that perhaps you're missing out on. Or you can contemplate on the things in your life which you feel you should improve. Because that's kind of the cloud you're under at the moment. And of course, in another hour, you may feel happy and positive again, and then your contemplation and your thoughts will be completely different. You'll be thinking about how good this and that is, and maybe you'll be inspired to do something, and you'll be looking forward to something because there's a positive cloud over you. I guess the thing to do is not to take either one of these thought processes too seriously, because they just change all the time. I'm looking at the sheep that were in front of us a few days ago. They've pretty much eaten every blade of grass that was in this big field. They're going to have to move them on soon, I suppose. That's my friend the dog. Long legs. He's a hell of a guard dog. Bonjour. Yeah, there really is a sense of clutter in my head. I have wanted to, for as long as I can remember, wanted to find a creative outlet that has some sense of routine in it, but that I create something, I vent something, I have some interactions from people. Hopefully people that say, I know what you mean. And I have to go through the same format to do this every evening. But the end product is always different. And I always feel a sense of achievement when I do it. You know, finding that thing that's it has everything in it for you, and you don't need to do anything different after that. I got some people coming. Buongiorno. My mind goes back to Yat. That goes a long, long way back, 1991 maybe. And a lot of the guys in my class, we were in his lesson, we had to kind of write a character piece and invent a character, and kind of guys came up with characters, and then they were able to develop them over the preceding days and weeks. And I could never stick on one thing. I kept coming in with different characters all the time. Nothing sticked. I couldn't find anything that just kind of grew into something, you know. And one of the things Yat said to me was, well, at least he's always trying. Always something new. Always something new with Eddie. And that's kind of been my life in terms of wanting to find this niche creative element, but never been able to find anything that keeps me occupied or interested for more than 2 or 3 videos. I know I keep going back to The Sims, and if somebody were to pay me a wage, then I could quite happily have a job just doing Sims videos. But the way it stands at the moment, that just the Sims stuff, it's not enough anymore. If I could have some dialogue in it, maybe, but the best dialogue I can ever come up with is going to be now during these walks. It's always been like that. I've never been able to come up with anything sitting in front of a screen. Sitting just staring at the wall, maybe, but not in front of a screen. But I get back to that again because it's an interesting thing for me. You know, when I see someone like Leon Lush or Gus Johnson, or maybe even iDubbbz, and they find that they have their kind of thing that they can do in their room, and they can vent and stuff, and they can go on like that. And me, it's like you know, this week I want to do these little vlog videos, and next week that'll disappear probably, and I'll have something else. And then, you know, a few months ago I had this idea, I'm going to do 10 minutes speaking on different subjects. How good is that, you know? So it's such a simple format. And I can vent exactly what I'm saying. I can vent, and I can be a bit creative or whatever. I have a clock in the corner, and you know, I did 2, and that was that. I never did any more. And then with Flo a few years ago, I was going to do some kind of a funny newscast program and try and do some satirical stuff, and that never happened. I've got so much in my head, and I've got I believe I've got a peculiar way and an interesting way of looking at subtle things, which if I could get people to listen with me, they'd be interested, in people of a certain age perhaps. would resonate with it. But all my life I've missed the same writing, you know. I'm going to write a short story, I'm going to write lots of short stories, I'm going to write a novel, I'm going to do this, and I've never been able to settle down to anything specifically. I was taken with my Sim character, Ephraim Shaw, I think the first guy, because he was a painter. And that was his thing, and he spent his whole life painting. And he expressed himself through the painting, and he got whatever it was inside, outside through the painting. And I thought I'd love to be able to have something like that. Oh, I feel like this. I go home, I go into the studio, or the computer room in my case, and I turn things on, and I got some whatever lights. And I can't wait, you know. But the thing is, if I set everything up like that, more than likely I'd do one video, and then I wouldn't have any other ideas. I just wouldn't be able to do anything else. I could think. I'm glad I have never been tempted to do that. I'm sure some YouTubers do that. I'm sure guys with money do that. They buy the big mics with the stands that you can move all over the place, and they buy the lights. And the money that you can spend on cameras is just ridiculous for the difference you get as well, especially on YouTube. It's just, you know, I think you'd be hard pushed to find any difference between the Sony camera I have and a 4K camera, really. And on YouTube anyway, everything is kind of put through the machine, comes out the same as every other video on the other side, unless you're using really crap equipment, crap audio equipment. But I deviate. So if I spent money on that, and I'm sure people do, I'd be frustrated because I may find that I'd have nothing to say then. I can't believe that I have nothing to say. I never stop talking. Maybe this thing about empty vessels making most noise is me. Maybe I'm actually quite dumb and I talk a lot, but I don't say anything. But it doesn't stop the fact that whenever I do a video, upload a video, I do have this sense of satisfaction. And instead of just surfing, I mean, I don't mind surfing Netflix and surfing YouTube. I just wish it was some form of research. And at the end of 2 days of doing this or that, I had some stuff stored, and I had something to say about something. Whether it was serious or comic or mad, it doesn't matter. Something to put out, because that just makes me happy when I do that. Anyway, at least I got the mic. And I like the notion of making a whole collection of these audios as I'm walking. It feels like the right thing to do. All that to say that this sense of not being made up, that inside in my mind, whatever, there's a mess that needs to be cleaned up. It's something like that. And the way it gets cleaned up sometimes is by doing something creative. You know, especially if you get to use some of the equipment you've got. By that I mean all the little bits and pieces, the radio, the MP3s, the voice recorder. But something that you feel is important, you know. Something that you feel is important. Tu es fatigué? Fatigué, non?
Non, il n'est pas fatigué, vous avez vu?
Coucou!
Voilà. Il a vu quelqu'un, donc il avance. Ouais. Allez, vite.
Allez!
Allez.
Tu es belle. Bonne journée. Something to fix that untidiness, yeah. These are conscious things we do to solve an unconscious problem. It's a very kind of bizarre thing, and it's constant. It doesn't change. It's something in the blueprint of the character, I think. For me, I remember, again, when I was 17, 18, maybe younger, I used to clean up the house sometimes when my mother would go out shopping. If I was there in the morning for some reason, and I was on my own, I distinctly remember going to clean everything up. Everybody would have gone to school, I don't know. And so I'd clean all the dishes and I'd fold up everything and I'd hoover and everything, and my mother would come back and the place would be as clean as it could possibly be, you know. As I could do. I wasn't like painting the ceiling or anything. But I remember feeling good about that night. I remember Kieran Egan saying one time when he was doing his laundry in London, he went to a laundromat and he put the money in and he said there was something kind of spiritual about it. It was like the feeling you used to get when you came out of church as a kid, when you did your laundry. There was something, you tidied something up. The other thing that comes to mind about my youth is there were other nights when I would search. I would open drawers, I would take things out. I had no idea what I was looking for. But I always had this impulse to search. If I could have opened the little furniture piece that my dad had, I could spend the whole evening just going through everything. You know, stuff I wouldn't even understand. Tax forms and pay slips, but I just had this insatiable appetite to search. And I would go through drawers and chests and again, I think it was a conscious way of trying to deal with something unconscious. I was searching, but I wasn't really kind of searching in another way. And the tidying up, the same thing. Those two things are still there. They're still there, you know, the searching. Every now and again I'll take out a box that has all my old stuff in it and I'll go through it. I'll take out old diaries and I'll try and go through them and read them. Or in a more modern way, I'll take the expansion pack and I'll start kind of scanning through old folders and files. And I'll be at my happiest when I find some file that I haven't seen in years. Audio or video or pictures, it doesn't matter. Searching. On the one hand searching, on the other hand trying to put stuff together, trying to make a tidy, completed, creative piece, you know. Yeah. How does one deal with that? Should one just set the cameras rolling and not try to have any ideas at all? Just actually say, this is the problem. Like I've just said it to myself in the last hour, you know. Just say, I feel like this. I feel like I'm trying to create something, and in a sense that's going to make me feel tidier inside. And I could do that, of course, with a lot of humor and madness. And yet, underneath the humor and madness, there's actually an underlying truth. She's not back yet. Don't believe it. Wow. Just Flo was going on about, I'll probably be home before we were at the same time. And I thought I walked quite slow. Maybe she's putting stuff in the garage. I don't know. Hello, Clara. The last cat in land, huh? Hello, little fella. You didn't hear me at all, did you? You were fast asleep. You were fast asleep. Where's Clara? Goodbye. Tuco. Didn't even see me coming. Oh boy. Getting closer and closer to the dentist time. What time is it now? 10 to 3. We're supposed to leave it around 3. And I'm feeling slightly more and more anxious with every passing minute. That's where you get to the point where you just go, I want this to be done. Because sometimes, and not just sometimes, most of the time maybe, the thinking about the damn thing is the worst part. Hello, Tuco. The stress of the thing going on in your mind all the time for weeks and weeks. And you just think, oh God, just do whatever you have to do so that I don't have to keep thinking about this. What's this? Edward Fitzgerald. Le Ram. Reunion d'Assurance Malade. And 1416. I think that's money. Oh, that's Flo. Ah, you good boy, Tuco. Huh? Looks like you don't have any water. Do you have any water? Here, let me get you some water. Oh, stretch, big stretch. Let me get you some water. There you go, Chucky. Oh. Do you want a biscuit? Well, you're not going to say no to a biscuit, are you? You're not going to say no to a biscuit. Hell no. Hell no. Well, my mic held pretty well with this little bit of tape attached to the, well, it's just attached to the coat. So the clip breaking doesn't really bother me too much. And I know girlies always have clips and things for their hair, don't they? So I'm sure Flo we'll be able to sort that out without any trouble at all. So now I just got to wait for Flo and wash my teeth. Time is it? 3 o'clock in an hour and a half or so. Hopefully I'll be under the dentist's chair. What's the story with this? We thought you'd like to know we dispatched your mic. Okay. So it says the thing cost £5. Post £3. £1.69 VAT, £10 altogether, €12. That's nice. That's good. €12. Huh? Frostpunk, new update. I don't really play Frostpunk anymore. You are receiving this email because you have played Frostpunk. The last autumn expansion is available now. What does that mean? Last autumn. Oh, it's just another scenario. The biggest and most complex scenario for Frostpunk yet. The last autumn debuts today on PC. As you probably know, the expansion is part of a Frostpunk Season Pass that was released in August, but can also be brought separately. What is the expansion? The last autumn tells a prequel story. Experience the events that ended with the cataclysmic lead to construction of the iconic generator. Everyone will be happy with the work conditions, and some of your people, albeit they shouldn't know it, could pay the ultimate price when striving to give humankind the last hope. It's up to you to weigh the stakes and decide how much sacrifices the greater good is worth. The last autumn features a new environment, generator construction, mechanics, new buildings, a new book of laws, new technology tree, new resources, unique social classes, and original endless mode, and more. The Season Pass grants access to all 3 DLC packs. Buy now. Okay, so it's not a free thing, you have to buy it. And there's a launch trailer. Let's see that.
It is the price to pay. Isn't it peculiar how righteous some choices seem to be? As long as you are not the one to make them.
Frostpunk, the last autumn. The graphics are lovely in this game. It's just, it's such a difficult kind of game, and it's, I don't know. Well, might be worth trying if it's just a few quid. You guys won't be seeing me for a while. My friends, why? Me, city must survive. Discontent falls greatly. Motivation rises greatly. It's finally out. I can't wait to play it. We hope you're going to love it. 18, is that what it is? Fuck you, I don't want to pay 18 bucks for a dick. Then don't pay $20 on the DLC, asshole. Learn some manners, please, right? Appropriate language. Okay. Bundle up, folks. Winter's coming. Okay. Hey, my mic is still on. Should I stop this now? As we're about to head off, I think. I'd like to go sooner rather than later, just to get this, even if I'm waiting in the dentist. Hey, 1 hour and 3 minutes. That's good. This thing is fantastic. I'm going to stop there and say adios for now, but expect more. We're going to do some more of these. So, yeah, hope things are good for you in the future, and I'll speak to you, well, after the dentist.